Hello, my name is Bill Klossing. I'm a Sonoma County Master Gardener, and we're here today to talk about the use of natives in the home garden. I've become a native plant enthusiast in my years living here in Sonoma County, primarily as habitat support of wildlife, insects, pollinators, birds, etc. Here in front of me are two manzanitas. The one on this side is Dr. Hurd. This is Howard McMinn. The manzanita is one of the earliest bloomers in the calendar in Sonoma County. They will start blooming in January. You can see this Howard McMinn has already finished its bloom. If you look closely, you can see the set of fruit, which will feed birds, hummingbirds, insects, pollinator support, early native bees. All of these things are supported by these plants. Our native manzanitas are very useful in the home garden. For a smaller garden, they do not get particularly large. This Dr. Hurd will get maybe 15 feet tall in 20 years. The Howard McMinn maybe 10 foot tall. Both are nursery cultivars that have become popular primarily because they will tolerate even a novice gardener who can give it a little extra water. Typically in the wild, manzanitas would get no summer water. These two specimens will tolerate some summer drip so that they're a little more forgiving for the home gardener. I also always want to pay attention to the bloom calendar. I talked about how they start blooming in January, and Howard McMinn is one of the latest blooming manzanitas, and so by planting these two next to each other, you can extend that bloom period for pollinators over a period of several months rather than 1 month. We're continuing our series digging into the genus Arctostaphylos, commonly known as manzanita here in California, and we talked earlier about Howard McMinn and Dr. Hurd. But we also want to talk about the fact that they come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, some upright, some low and crawling. In front, I planted these three together, one a ground cover, one a medium size, one a large. That ground cover version is Arctostaphylos edmundsii. It will remain just about 18 inches tall, although it will get 4 or 5 feet across at maturity. More manzanitas. This particular manzanita that's in front of me is Arctostaphylos paharoensis, which is native to Monterey County in its original site where it was discovered here in California. You notice that I have this in a container. I bought a house that has a pool. I have a lot of concrete, and so to try to get natives into my concrete space, I've taken inspiration from Cal Flora Nursery, who have manzanitas in containers successfully. Asked them, got some suggestions from them, and this pajaro manzanita is now 5 years old and doing well in this container. How long it will survive is a good question. This particular manzanita is interesting because its growth form is a little different. It's very sprawling. It has adapted very well to this container. The other interesting thing is that the new growth in the springtime is green with a tinge of red. So it can be really pretty when it first bursts into new growth in the springtime.
Hello, I'm Kim Pearson, and I'm a Sonoma County Master Gardener. And today we're going to talk about some manzanitas. This manzanita here is in a Santa Rosa garden, and I live in a suburban area, so I wanted to choose plants that have a smaller size in overall maturity. And so this one is called Arctostaphylos John Doerly. And the ultimate height is around 3 feet to about 6 feet wide. And so it's kind of perfect for my little area in this garden here. And what I love about this plant is it has lovely new growth that pops out in the spring, which is kind of bronzy in color, and it has late winter white pinkish flowers all around the shrub. And then now, this is April, I'm getting on this plant some beautiful berries, nice big red berries. And the birds love the berries. Robins, cedar waxwing, birds like that will come and nibble on it. Maybe even other habitat animals will come and enjoy it as well. But I love this plant because of its size and its color.
I'm Rosemary McCrary, a longtime master gardener, and I want to share with you a few of the native plants that have had great success in my garden. One of them is this manzanita, Howard McMinn, Arctostaphylos, Howard McMinn. It's usually grown as a freestanding shrub that reaches about 5 feet high and wide, but I decided that I wanted a sculptural form at this point in my garden near a bench in a walkway. So I've pruned it up carefully every year, but it still gets very nice blossoms in the wintertime. And they've become little berries now that the birds will feed on. As soon as they ripen, they'll turn a little bit red and will be nice feed for the birds. And sometimes these actually ripen more in winter than it is now, which is early spring. And they provide a nice food for foraging birds and bees, of course, in the wintertime. Of all the manzanita ground covers, this particular cultivar, it's Arctostaphylos uva ursi, Massachusetts. This is probably the very lowest growing that's suited to our Sonoma County gardens. It only gets about 2 inches high and it will spread quite wide. I expect this to cover this entire mulched area here between the sidewalk and the foundation. The soil that it's growing in was once amended long ago when I had a shrub here that I've since taken out, but it's going to move its roots into the side where the soil was not amended at all. So it's very easy growing, really, and will adapt to almost any garden condition. Its prize is really the abundance of pale pink blossoms and red berries. Now this is a very young plant. It's only been in the ground a year and a half, so it has yet to produce its wonderful assets, and I'm looking forward to that. But it's one of the best for a low-growing native plant ground cover.